Today we continue our Season's Creepings triple feature with Guillermo del Toro's 1993 bloody, buggy, and moderately festive debut feature film. The clocks are ticking, the cockroaches are scattering, and it's immortality versus humanity as we pop on some 16th century soul-sucking swag to meet a 400-year-old vampire bug in CRONOS.
You're listening to How I Met Your Monster, a podcast that explores the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. My name's Zach.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Casey.
And together we dive into the world of horror to find out how filmmakers have introduced us to our favorite monsters time and time again. This is How I Met Your Monster.
Box. You opened it. We came.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you meatloaf! Surprise, Sydney.
I forgot this was our Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Because, they show a Christmas tree.
There are Christmas songs. The first thing you see post cold open is a sign that says Feliz Navidad. And of course, the captions say Merry Christmas. So the first text, aside from the credits that we get on the screen, are Merry Christmas.
And don't you worry, I marked all of the Christmas references in this movie.
Thank you.
Just to prove that it is not a Christmas movie.
Wait, not a Christmas movie? I thought you're on my... I'm like,
They move so quickly from Christmas to New Year's.
Yes.
There's a moment, it's like Christmas, and then all of a sudden they're like, Happy New Year. I'm like,
I agree. And it's perfect because it's a movie about time. So we want to we're the holiday about time. But in the end, in the final act, spoiler alert, Angel, played by Ron Perlman, yells out, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. That's not the tone. It's a more Perlman-y. But he says a Merry Christmas again multiple times to close up the movie.
Yeah. And even post New Year's, they still have their tree up. There's still a tree.
Oh, when they had the shot of him walking home and you see, and Aurora opens the door and you see the Christmas tree. I was like, thank you. Thank you, Guillermo del Toro.
I need another reference to make this.
Please validate me.
Oh my God. All right.
Yeah, we should note that this was our Christmas pick, and I did choose this movie going into it knowing that it would probably create some contention and debate.
Well,
so I get it.
Almost chose a movie about cat people that nobody had ever heard of. So
it was going to be a sequel to a movie that no one's ever seen.
It's a little bit better.
Now, Danny, you had said that Guillermo del Toro himself had tweeted that CRONOS is a Christmas movie.
Yeah, someone had posted just like a few images from horror movies, and he retweeted, and it was a picture of like a Christmassy scene, and he retweeted it like in all caps saying, yes, CRONOS is a Christmas movie. So
interesting. Okay.
From the king's mouth.
Man, I mean, I like this debate better than the Die Hard Christmas movie debate.
Die Hard's definitely a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. It's set on Christmas.
But we'll see, because Zach, you have End of Days coming up, and we'll see how much of a New Year's movie that is.
Well, that is like very New Year's movie.
Okay.
Oh, is
I've never seen it.
Okay.
Because it's about 1999, so it's like the millennium, and it's like it's very much it's very much like a hey, at midnight shit's going down.
Everything, the world's going to blow up. Okay.
We all did think there was a chance the world might have ended, and Arnold was like, how can we capitalize on it?
Perfect.
He does this every year for Christmas. He was like, he saw Tickle Me Elmo, and he's like, how can we capitalize on it? And they're like, they showed him the Turbo Man doll.
Oh.
I'm not the pervert. I just was looking for a Turbo Man.
He says that in End of Days. He tries to fit that line in every holiday movie he does.
I'm not a pervert. I just was celebrating the new year.
They're all like, Arnold, no one called you up. They didn't. What are you talking about?
I'm not a pervert. It's like the kid's like, boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. I'm not the pervert. But anyways,
is there any way we could do Kindergarten Cop on this show?
I would love to do Kindergarten Cop.
It's so far from horror, but I guess that you could argue, I won't spoil it, but the villains are pretty evil.
Yeah.
It's almost like a psycho kind of, I'm spoiling it. It's almost like a psycho dynamic between the villains, if I remember it correctly.
You can't believe you spoiled Kindergarten Cop for us on this show. Everyone listening to our Christmas episode is so pissed that you spoiled Kindergarten Cop.
They were going to watch it tomorrow.
Speaking of which,
guys, I haven't even started the show yet.
Hey, if Chronos can have a cold open, we can have a cold open.
That's true. Okay.
Also, wait, this is the time of the year to have a cold open. It's our Christmas episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's snowing. So right now, just to paint a picture, right now I'm sitting in my little log cabin. The fire is crackling. You can probably hear it because Zach is jacking up the little sound effects right now. And by sound effects, I mean my microphone. The snow is falling. I saw a shooting star. It might have been Santa. I'm just saying. Might have been Krampus. But yeah, that's what I'm doing this holiday season.
While you watch Chronos, the most Christmassy Christmas movie.
Yeah, I said, how can I make this stereotypical Christmas setting more Christmassy? Chronos.
Casey, what setting are you in?
The old people downstairs, they have the heat cranked up really fucking high. It's really hot in my apartment.
So it's like kind of like a fire.
It's kind of like a cozy
it's really
fire.
hot. The sun is shining outside. Actually, it's very nice out.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, all right. That's fine. Okay. Anyways, guys, let me start the fucking show.
Well,
okay.
It's a cold open, warm open.
Welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. Today, if you haven't picked up on this already, we are continuing our Season's Creepings triple feature with Guillermo del Toro's 1993 feature film debut, Chronos. What did you think of Chronos? First reactions. Danny loves it. Obviously, he picked it. Not just because it's a Christmas movie, but because you are a Guillermo del Toro
super fan. You know how he had superbugs? I'm the superbug of fans. I'm a super fan.
Speaking of bugs, Mimic was his second feature.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Did Chronos and then Mimic.
And about bugs. If it ain't broke.
Casey, what did you think of Chronos? Initial reactions?
Well, you guys are going to be mad at me.
Why would I be mad at you? I didn't like it either.
Oh, okay. Did you not? I didn't like, it's not one of those movies that I was like upset that I watched, you know, it's not like one of those, but I was just kind of underwhelmed.
Okay.
I thought it would be a lot creepier.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay. And when I say I didn't like it, that's I'm exaggerating a bit.
Zach's burning a copy of his Chronos DVD right now.
Because he bought it, even though it was like $80.
Yeah.
Zach, that's not how you use a Christmas cozy fire at your cabin.
No, I didn't hate it at all. I didn't love it by any means. I'm finding it's kind of like a theme with Guillermo del Toro movies. Like, I feel like I want to like his movies more than I actually do.
Normally, I always
seem to like with this one, with Mimic, with Crimson Peak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it happened with Pan's Labyrinth, but with those three at least, like I'll be like really interested until like the midpoint, and then I just kind of like fade off, and I'm just like disinterested by the end. I'm like, okay,
gotcha.
Okay. Initial reactions of Chronos. We'll get into it a little bit more in a minute. Before we get too far into the show, I want to remind anybody listening that if you are not subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, make sure to subscribe to our show so that you don't miss fun holiday movies like CRONOS. We're even on SiriusXM. If you can find us on Sirius, I know that's.
Are you serious, Clark?
Serious, yeah. I don't have SiriusXM. I kind of wish I did sometimes in the car, but it's
only in the car.
Only in the car.
It's not in the budget.
It's not in the budget. That's right.
I know. I almost signed up because I like to post links to our show on social media. And I downloaded the app for SiriusXM, but you had to pay just to like get in there. I was like, I just want the link. I won't press play. I just want the link.
I won't press play.
They don't. They're pretty strict on what they give you. But and also we are, before the end of the year, Chris, it's almost 2025. We are trying to get as many new reviews of our show as we can for it's like a Christmas present to us.
Yeah.
Like you didn't ask what we wanted, but we're telling you that we would love some reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So that would just make our Christmas that much better.
Yeah, and if you got the money, SiriusXM too. If they take they probably don't even take your views. They seem so I mean, I love them. I'm not going to say anything. We love you, SiriusXM.
And if you are looking for something special for that holiday, I mean, it's getting late. You're pushing pushing it here.
Yeah.
It's almost Christmas time. This episode's going to come out a little bit early. But if you're looking for a gift for the horror lover in your life, Fangoria is the one-stop shop. You get magazines, you get hoodies, t-shirts, hats. I think they even have like tumblers and stuff.
Yeah. Like the website. You can buy tumblr.com on Fangoria.
But yeah, shop.fangoria.com, promo code How I Met Your Monster. You can save 20% off your whole purchase, and you'll help support our show in the process. So you got a few days before Christmas. Make sure to get in there, fill up your cart.
And that's why Zach specifically wanted to release this episode a little earlier. It was for you guys. Mm-hmm. He wanted to make sure you had time to do all this and have the time to, use the code and get your friend, monster loving friend, some monster friendly merch.
Right. I'm kind of like Santa.
You are like Santa.
I am to Santa as CRONOS is to Christmas movies.
Zach, your beard is turning white, like in real time, like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus.
That's called stress, Danny.
It's not the holiday spirit?
No. Oh. That's definitely stress. But you don't have to stress. You can find the perfect gift for your horror lover in your life by visiting shop.fangoria.com and using promo code How I Met Your Monster. 20% off there. You're welcome. And one more order of business, I guess you would say, but it's fun business. It's good stuff. We have something very special coming in January for all of you listeners out there.
Do tell.
Danny.
Oh, I'll tell.
Danny, if I'm Santa, you're my little Christmas elf.
Hi. What am I?
What is it, Jack?
You're also an elf.
Oh.
Oh, you want to be a reindeer?
No.
What do you want to be?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wow, this elf is not being very helpful right now. Come on, where's your Christmas spirit?
Okay, this bit is strange.
A little bit.
So we'll just tell you, Patreon, How I Met Your Monster Patreon is coming January 1st.
That's exciting.
Hell yeah.
So we'll have some cool commentary episodes that you'll be able to access by signing up for our Patreon. And you'll also have access to our first 50 episodes, which
we were trying our best. No, I will go so far as saying it is really fun to listen to the older episodes. They are not that bad at all. I actually think they're quite good. The only difference is I think we found our groove in terms of the the structure of the show. So you'll get a glimpse into the early phases. It's sort of like when it's like if you're on your computer, say you have a MacBook and you're typing on it, and then all of a sudden someone gives you the keys to Apple and you get to see all the old MacBooks and you're like, wow, I get that you needed to do that to get here, but they're not bad because they're older.
Danny, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
It's kind of like MacBooks or something. I don't know. But you'll get access to our first 50 episodes. And you'll also have access to fun commentary episodes. And that's it. That's coming in January. So enough about that. Let's talk about CRONOS. Mm-hmm. So this was Guillermo del Toro's first feature. He wrote the script for his script writing class. He wrote this and Devil's Backbone together.
Wow.
Yeah. And this one, CRONOS, was originally titled. Do you know the original title for CRONOS?
No.
Vampire of the Grey Dawn was the original title for CRONOS.
I would have been really upset if that were the title.
Yeah.
CRONOS what's the Grey Dawn?
It just would have been incredibly misleading.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like they're kind of like when they like rebirth themselves, they're kind of like gray. They got that skin tone. I don't know.
The people. Yeah, I know. But the vampire thing is like so not. It's not like.
You don't think of this as a vampire movie?
I mean, I guess, but only because there's not like really a lot of other things going on.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
I felt like at the end, jumping the gun to the very end where he's like finally saying that he's like, he doesn't want to live forever because he's Jesus Christ. You know, he keeps saying that like over and over. I feel like there was like a story about like identity and self that like I didn't see.
No. Oh yeah. That's what I
feel
mean.
Like it was at the end, it kind of like happened. And I was like, oh, you know, doesn't want to be somebody else. He wants to be himself and whatever. But I was like, that wasn't in the rest of the movie.
Yeah. There could have been so much more.
See, I disagree because I think they drive the point home pretty clear that it is, and I mentioned this in my intro, it's like immortality versus humanity. Like, what does it mean to live forever if there's no one with you to do it? So it's like there's this whole like family element with him and Mercedes and Aurora. And then you have Angel and LaGuardia who are family and hate each other.
Yeah. I don't know. It just feels like it feels like nothing is like really, really hit upon. Like the vampire thing, he bites his neck at the very end. That's the only, he licks the blood off the floor.
Well, I see that. Yeah, like he didn't bite anybody, but I think like the whole idea of like vampirism and immortality and all that stuff is, I do think that, because like the CRONOS device.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like it's the vampire, but.
I would say it is. I would 100% say it is.
I think everything was just too light. I guess in this movie, like there was nothing.
Do you think it was because he was just a first-time director? Do you think it would?
I mean, maybe that's what I was thinking. Is maybe if he were to write that again now, it would be a lot more. Like I wanted it to be way more intense than it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
because Del Toro does spectacle movies. His movies are big and bold and like crazy to look at. Like they're visual, like feasts. Yeah. And you get glimpses of that even within this smaller budget. Like even when they show inside the CRONOS device, you see like, he loves the machinery and the grandeur, like the gross grandeur.
That was cool.
So yeah, maybe it is just a budget thing.
Yeah.
It was cool. Like inside the device, it was all mechanical, but then there was like this insect that was kind of like
totally goopy and
I just felt like it. I felt like a lot of it could have been a lot more impactful. I guess.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, I'm hoping, but I won't hold my breath, but I'm hoping that maybe this will be like a gothic episode where we all come around to loving it. Oh,
sure. Yeah. I could see it happening because even like I was watching some interviews with him. I think maybe when they were doing like, maybe it was like when they were re-releasing CRONOS on DVD or something, because he was talking about an audio commentary. I don't think it was right when he made it, but he was talking about like all his filmmaking. He wants to aspire to like the feeling of when he saw Frankenstein for the first time, and that scene with Frankenstein and the little girl throwing the petals of flowers into the water.
In the water, yeah.
Like horror and sympathy.
Well, isn't that interesting that isn't he remaking Frankenstein?
Yeah, because now he's remade Frankenstein.
Speaking of big things coming in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's sort of like when Peter Jackson did his remake of King Kong, because that was the movie that got him into doing filmmaking. I actually liked that movie.
Yeah, but he was talking, I guess there's like 2 cuts of Frankenstein, of that scene, where there's one where you see him throw the girl in the water.
Well, yeah, it cuts to just the dad carrying her corpse through the streets. So it's like, yeah, I get why I don't agree. I get why the censors cut it thinking it would be less intense. Mm-hmm. But really, it puts it makes your imagination like stir, like, what the fuck happened? Whereas you at least get to see the Frankenstein's monster, like, having this not understanding, like he becomes so much more sympathetic when you actually see it. He's not hurting her. He's as far as he knows, the fun of this game is to throw things in the water, to throw, and maybe you could argue like throw like this, like, I don't know, just it's like she is like another flower petal in his eyes, like this sweet little girl.
Yeah, because he doesn't understand like the difference between life and death.
He's even smiling while he does it.
Which is, so then he started talking, well, he was talking about that, and then he kind of brings it into CRONOS, where like Aurora, the granddaughter, doesn't understand the difference between life and death in this movie. And she's seeing like her grandpa go through this like change where he's kind of like dying, but also he's alive still. And
well, it also, no, it's like the innocence, because it's Guillermo del Toro is really good at kind of like creating this like stark contrast between innocence and, I don't know what the word is, but like people who are corrupt. Like when we watched Crimson Peak, like that's what the movie is. It's the innocent girl versus this like really fucked up people. But one takeaway that maybe is a little on the nose, I don't know, but is kind of how this movie is very much like it. And I guess this applies to a lot of vampire movies in general, is being kind of a drug allegory. He's literally using a needle. It's this thing that creates a temporary high, and then dependence, and then death. It makes you think you're unstoppable. It destroys your vitality and then your humanity, and it's addictive. And then on top of that, you have, and we'll get into like specific stuff later, but God, it like broke my heart when Aurora literally gives him the device at the end because she thinks it'll help him, because all she knows is like, this thing helps you. Like, and obviously that plays into his big decisions that he makes at the end. We'll get to it. But yeah, I really like that. So I love what he was, that's what we were talking about, substance. And obviously everyone's going to have different takeaways from it. But that's what I loved about this movie, was the fact that it's a movie that could have been more grand and bigger, but he chose to isolate that and just focus on a story about a grandpa and his granddaughter, and like what that means and like what that represents in terms of like family and humanity and all that.
Really quick, Jesus was not a grandpa; he was a granddaddy.
Oh, he became a granddaddy.
I actually thought he was hot. Like as soon as they showed him, I was like, okay, Jesus, okay, he's an older guy. So,
well, when he
looks like Geppetto at first.
I love men who build things with their hands.
That's hilarious.
So Geppetto makes the
and Guillermo del Toro just won the Oscar a couple years ago for his remake of Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's all.
I don't think that was by accident. I think that was a Geppetto lookalike on purpose.
And then he looks like I know like when people shave and like they look totally different. He looks like a totally different dude. Yeah. Once he shaves his mustache.
Did they? Yep. I think they did something with the makeup too, because I remember watching, and in the beginning I was like, he looks like he has. Like there's an artifice to it, and not in a bad way. Just like you could see something, so that when
they may have done an old age makeup on him to make him older.
Yeah. So that when he did shave, they could take it off, and he looked.
It's younger. Like, wow, you're really glowing.
All right. Well, are you guys ready to head to Spain?
We're in Mexico.
Yeah, I think it's in Mexico. Guillermo del Toro is from Mexico. That's where a lot of his movies are.
Oh, I just found this giant scarab shaped gold beetle thing. Let me just, before we start, let me just crank it up.
Okay.
All right, it's activating. I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to hold it in my hand. Let's get started.
Okay.
Ow.
It's sounded like you kind of liked that a little bit.
I didn't hate it.
I'm having one.
All right, let's go meet some monsters. Okay, so for CRONOS, we have, let's see here. We have 3 reveals.
Wow.
Is that a record?
It might be.
A record.
We've got 3 reveals and a few honorable mentions. What was Thanksgiving? I think we had like 13 reveals, or 12 reveals.
And we still we're not totally on the same page with each other.
Yeah. So this is a little different. 3 reveals, a bunch of honorable mentions. Danny, this was your pick for our Christmas entry into our Season's Creepings triple feature. Could you please read the synopsis for CRONOS via IMDb?
Definitely. Oh, CRONOS miss. CRONOS miss? That's not going to catch. Yes. So
stop trying to make fetch happen.
A mysterious device designed to provide its owner with eternal life resurfaces after 400 years, leaving a trail of destruction in its path.
Sounds a bit more intense than what it made out to be.
Maybe Max, the description on HBO Max, aka Max, will help us.
Okay, what do you got there?
Fleeing the Inquisition, an alchemist arrives in Mexico in 1536, bearing the CRONOS device that can prolong life. First of all, no.
Okay, so
I would like to see that movie, though.
That's not the movie. That's
a minute and a half of the opening scene.
Yeah.
And also, did he flee it? I don't...
The narrator does say that he fled.
Okay.
Yes.
I see. I guess you wouldn't, run toward the Inquisition.
Yeah, you would flee, I think.
Okay.
And the narrator does mention that at the beginning, but that synopsis from Max makes it seem like that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into our first honorable mention. Since we're talking about the alchemist fleeing the Inquisition, he's our first honorable mention. The alchemist who is making the CRONOS device.
Yes,
and
that's a story I want to hear.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Why did he
for
make it?
Guillermo del Toro to write or shoot a short story that is setting this up. Like a little prequel. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do think we would be remiss to not kind of talk about what the word for the CRONOS device comes from.
Okay.
The title comes from Chronos, spelled with an H. It doesn't lead with an H, but CHRONOS. It is, quote, a personification of time in pre-Socratic philosophy and later literature. And also the Egyptian scarab beetle, which is what the device is designed after, represents rebirth and resurrection. So it's all pretty clear. It's all very on the nose. Obviously, this alchemist was reading up on pre-Socratic philosophy, and
as alchemists do.
Yeah. He was like, what should I call this machine? He was like, oh, I know. The Vampire of the Grey Dawn. And then his buddy was like, have you read any pre-Socratic philosophy? And he's like, CRONOS. Oh. And of course, they don't have H's in 1536, so it became CRONOS without an H.
Yes.
They don't have
H's weren't invented. Yeah, the H's weren't invented until the 1901.
Yes. Then why did it have an H before that?
I mean, what I meant to say was
1901 BC.
H's were misplaced until 1901.
Okay. It was the the lost H. It was the great hunt for the H. Oh, which doesn't make sense because how can you have a hunt except there's no H? It was the great hunt for the H.
Yes. That's so funny. Yeah, and so the alchemist makes this machine, and then they jump forward 400 years to 1937, where a building crumbles on him or something, and he gets stabbed, and he's just dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also, we'd also be remiss to not point out the fact that his real job was to create clocks and otherwise known as timepieces. Because from what his CRONOS put it, timepiece.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yep. And he dies looking like a crumpled up white paper bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they point out that he has like white marbly skin when they find him.
So I guess like at the end when his like face is peeling off, well, actually like at the very end when he peels all his skin off.
Jesus.
So yeah. Sorry. Jesus at the end. Like, is that just how the alchemist went through the 400 years of his life with that kind of?
Yeah. He basically molted like a bug, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot in this movie. And he became this new form.
Okay.
You know,
so that was just him. Like it didn't like his skin like didn't get better. Kind of like, you know, in traditional, like in the vampire stories that we all know, like, you know, you're young forever or whatever. Like he just like was gray forever.
Yeah. I don't want to live through the
He was like
device.
spoiled.
And I think that's the thing they
I want to
say,
live
like,
in an interview with the vampire.
Yeah.
You know, you essentially are selling your soul and you have to pay a price for it. And in this case,
the bug.
Like you said, like, yeah, and like being a vampire is kind of romanticized in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is in one of those cases where it's not, it's just really gross and miserable. And I think it kind of drives that point home is like, what are you? What is the goal? Why do you want this so bad? Even Angel later says something when he finds out that his uncle wants to live forever. And he's like, what? To just like sit around the house and like do nothing. He's like, all
he does is piss and shit all day.
Yeah. Like,
well,
it's like,
but
why?
To be fair, if he had a device that would make him better, he wouldn't just be shitting and pissing in the house all day.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, that was something that like Del Toro said in that interview I was mentioning, like De La Guardia wants to live forever, but he lives locked up in a room.
Yeah.
Right.
And Angel, played by Ron Perlman, is obsessed with like his look. Like he wants like plastic surgery to make himself look younger, different or whatever. And the wife, Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
She's like worried about getting older and, you know.
Interesting then that the one who has the Chronos device is the only person who apparently doesn't care about any of those things.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it's funny because that's exactly what Del Toro said. And then is this Casey? Are you Guillermo del Toro?
Oh my God. I never noticed that.
Peels off her face.
This whole time. To quote Sally Field.
Sorry, guys. I know we've been flying under the radar for a really long time. I was waiting for the right moment.
And you didn't like this movie.
No, it was my first movie. You know, I could have done a lot better.
That's fair.
I could do a lot better now.
That's fair. Love the modesty.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and it is true. Like, you know, just on that thing about Jesus, is he's the only one who has the. I mean, Mercedes obviously has Aurora in her life, but she doesn't seem to have as strong of a relationship with Aurora. So of course, Jesus is like the ideal main character to kind of take us through this story because he's the one who has so much to lose, but he also has this other more innocent perspective from Aurora, which makes it all the more tragic, but also the more beautiful.
Who doesn't know her parents are dead?
Mm.
So did you guys notice when they walk into the antique shop for the first time and he gets the mail and he pulls a letter out of his jacket and he puts it in the stack of mail and he tells Aurora to go through the mail? Did you notice that scene?
I didn't catch that. Wow.
Yeah. He pulls a letter out. He puts it in the mail. He says, go through this. And that's all that is said of it. In the script, in the original script for Chronos, like you find out more that like she doesn't know her parents are dead and he is writing letters to her as her parents and putting and hiding them in the mail like they're sending her letters.
Well, that's shitty. Wow, Jesus. Don't like you anymore, bud.
That breaks my heart. Oh my God.
I would like to believe that Aurora is so emotionally intelligent as displayed in this movie that as she gets older, she will understand that it was all coming from a good place. That
it doesn't matter.
Maybe he didn't know how to handle this because it's funny. This whole movie is about like struggling to confront death. And he's literally keeping them alive, just like the Chronos device keeps people alive, but in his own way. And he probably realizes, you know, this isn't
maybe
healthy.
Like later in the movie when he's like writing the letter to Mercedes, right? Maybe she recognizes his handwriting and she's like,
see, I love
Grandpa,
that.
you sneaky fuck. You've been doing this all along.
Oh, if we had one, maybe there's like a little look like that she gives it like, You wily little weasel. I love this. I love this movie. I love the way Guillermo del Toro tells stories. And at this point, the movie just establishes the fact that Jesus owns an antique shop. You know, we already pointed out that he lives with his wife Mercedes and his granddaughter Aurora. And the movie kind of gets going when we see that this dude just comes into the shop poking around, and he seems to be interested in this thing that's wrapped up.
Let's be clear, Danny. The movie really gets going when someone steps into the puddle that is reflecting the words Feliz Navidad.
Thank you.
Christmas movie.
Actually, the movie really gets going when Jesus bites the guy's neck at the end.
Well, it's funny, in a original draft of this script, he didn't get bit by like the CRONOS thing. He got bit by a guy on the street in one of the earlier drafts of this movie, like back in 1985. He wrote this movie.
Oh, I love the change he made. I love how weird this is if you go into this as like I'm watching a vampire movie, to see all like the little changes and subversions.
Well, he said he wrote this, he like rewrote it, like he worked on it like every day, rewriting it and stuff for like 8 years.
Wow. Been there, man.
And a producer wanted him to translate it into English, but he's like, it doesn't work that way. So he rewrote it in English and then translated it back to Spanish. And
hey, producer, how do you say "go fuck yourself" in Spanish?
Because then ultimately he never got the American money for it, and so it didn't work anyways. But
then obviously they saw it and were like, "You're really good at movies with bugs. You want to do Mimic?
Want to do Mimic?" Yeah. So okay, that was our first honorable mention. Is the opening scene, The Alchemist. Our second honorable mention is where Jesus finds the device in the statue of the angel. Thank you.
Archangel.
The Archangel. Thanks. Archangel. Danny. It's not just an angel, it's an archangel.
I was waiting for you to say it.
It's filled with cockroaches, which is gross. We don't like roaches around here.
Ew. I do.
Del Toro. See, you are Del Toro, Casey. You actually are Del Toro. And he finds the device in the bottom of the
and these are, of course, only honorable mentions because, as far as we know, as the audience, we don't know that, nor do the characters realize that this is a monstrous device.
Right. And even in our follow-up honorable mention, Angel, played by Ron Perlman, he is sent by his uncle?
Mm-hmm.
De La Guardia, who lives in like this
warehouse,
sterile room in a warehouse.
Sterile room in a warehouse. Yeah, I like. Okay, really quick. When Ron Perlman takes his food to him, the way that he does it, it makes zero sense.
Because he like puts it like on the other.
He puts it through the thing, but then he just walks through the door. It's not like there's a desterilization. Like it's not like there's a sterilization chamber or something like that.
Like he could have just carried it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He did take his shoes off, or at least people take their shoes off.
Yeah,
but then he also like hands him a pen from his jacket that like was probably contaminated with other germs that the guy just grabs.
I understand what he was going for. Like he wanted it to seem like that, but there was no decontamination.
Was it deliberate though? Was it supposed to, like, on the surface, there's these, like, rules and practices to keep him safe, but then Angel's just a guy
trying to kill him?
Yeah, like, doesn't really care.
Sure, but like, there could have still been a chamber that he didn't use, but there wasn't.
Well, like that whole thing, I mean, like the whole, like, window to put the tray through was, like, built, right?
Right.
To do that, but it doesn't.
Right.
But I don't know if it's, I didn't look up to see if it was the same production designer on this movie as Mimic.
Yeah.
But Guillermo del Toro loves that like draping cloth in like medical. Because in that opening of Mimic, when you see all the kids in their hospital, it's like the cool, but then they never go back to it. It's just kind of like a singular thing.
Yeah.
But
that's still very like Del Toro-esque, that whole thing. But these were his first two movies, so he was just kind of getting the
right.
Yeah.
He knows what he likes. He knows what he's trying to try. He's trying it on.
Let's see here. Production design was by Tolita Figueroa.
Probably not, because this was all Mexican.
Yeah, well, he could.
Yeah, I don't know if he carried over people he had worked with.
Let's see.
Mimic, because that was like such a studio movie,
right?
I could see, and I don't know, the fact that some unsavory producer, aka Harvey, was running things.
Carl Spear on Mimic.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Carl. It's Carol. Carol Spear. I don't have my glasses on.
Carl.
Sorry, Carol. Oh, she was a production designer for Crimes of the Future, Dead Ringers.
Oh, Crimes of the Future is fun.
Eastern Promises. Somebody likes her. Never mind. Forget it. Leave me alone. I can't remember his name.
Who?
The guy who made those movies.
Cronenberg?
Yes.
David Cronenberg. Okay, yeah. I was only half paying attention because I'm looking for fucking the artists who do these things.
While you guys are searching.
Oh, I'm done now, Danny. I'm done.
God, there's been so much.
Me too. I'm done too.
Don't want to be remissing, and I would be.
We need a section for not to be remiss.
Hold on, really quick. I'm sorry. Carol Spear did production design for Mimic. Okay. But right before that, she did production design for Joe's Apartment.
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny.
She loves roaches.
Isn't that funny?
She loves roaches.
That is like so. That tells you everything about like Hollywood.
This woman just did a movie with all these roaches.
Yeah, she did roaches on this movie. She can probably do roaches on this movie too. She totally gets like cockroach culture.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, sorry.
Oh God. Okay, Danny. What should we not be? What should we?
I would be remiss to. We would be remiss to not point out the fact that when we do in this honorable mention, when we meet Angel and LaGuardia, Angel is whistling a song, and it is "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
Yep. Yeah, he's whistling it in the antique shop.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
My notes are all jumbled.
And I love that he's got like the cards of like his different noses that he like wants to. He's like, which one do you think? Which one do you think? It's like putting them up against his face.
Ron Perlman is so funny in this movie in the most uncomfortable way.
Yeah.
And you can totally see as early as this how his relationship must have been with Del Toro, because obviously they worked together quite a bit after this, most notably on Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really love what they did with what could have been a very run of the mill thug kind of character.
Right.
Like with all like the kind of dark humor and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Love it.
Yeah, he's probably the best character in the movie.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. Yeah, he did a terrible job wrapping that archangel statue for
the bag. Wasn't the bag over top of it?
No, he put he wrapped the base in like paper and tied it with a string, but like the top was open, and he's like, "Here you go."
It's this fragile antique.
I half wrapped it for you. And then once his name is Angel, and they're talking about an archangel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow,
I just noticed that too. I don't know how as I was watching it, I was like, Angel must be something. I was like, no, it's an angel.
So once Angel leaves and like he takes the statue back, like this is our very first actual monster reveal in the movie. Jesus and Aurora open the CRONOS device.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that it is more than
meets the eye.
There are some.
It's a transformer.
It's a transformer. There's some things that come out, but we don't see the whole thing. We don't see the stinger yet. We just see like the claws come out, and then like something. Oh, I guess it does sting him with something in the palm.
Yes.
But then later we see like that scorpion tail thing come out.
It doesn't go full transformation.
Yeah.
Transformer. Autobots roll out. What if it said that every time it stabbed him? When he turns it, it's just making the Michael. Well, I guess it's not Michael Bay. It's the transfer. Like,
oh yeah, like that. It's like freaking Transformers noises.
Like, this is weird.
And then Linkin Park starts playing.
What I've done.
Guillermo del Toro did Pacific Rim.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, what are those called? Because those ones have a cool, and also
rimmers.
A very cool sound effect.
They're called rimmers.
No, they're not.
More like Southern rimming.
They're called Gundams, aren't they? Are they called Gundams in that movie?
Oh no, they're called. Oh my god, it is on the top of my
mechs.
No,
I don't know.
What is it called? Southern rimming. Pacific Rim.
Specific rimming.
Kanji? Kaiju.
No, but those are the monsters.
Kaiju's like a big monster.
Well, yeah, but are they not called kaiju?
They're called Jaegers.
Jaegers.
Oh, they're called Jaegers?
Gigantic humanoid mechas.
Very interesting. What year did this come out? Because Aaron Yeager.
Jaeger bombs.
Aaron Yeager is a guy who turns into a Titan in Attack on Titan.
Ooh.
And so he's like a giant one of the, like humanoid one of those.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right. So yeah. So the CRONOS device stabs him. And we essentially go right into our second reveal after Mercedes basically tweezes out this metal filling. We see him kind of having a little bit of an inkling to eat some raw meat in the fridge.
Ugh, that was nasty.
And then his wound gets so itchy.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to ask this before we get into the second official reveal. Did it get really itchy because it was like calling for him, or was it like because he has like is now basically a vampire, it was just healing so fast that it, you know, like when wounds
that's a
heal,
good point.
they itch.
Yeah.
Was it just going so fast that it was like like unbearable?
Okay. I didn't think about that. I thought it was just like, yeah, he needed the
like the itch. Well, to bring back the drug allegory, it's like literally like that, you know, he's tweaking. Or do you tweak before or after? Is tweaking?
I don't know. He fucking used scissors to try to fucking scratch his. I was like, dude, what are you doing?
I was waiting. I was like, where's this going? Yeah.
Oh, God.
The most relatable moment in this movie is when he's itching so bad that he starts biting it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You ever do that? You're like, I don't know how to stop this. And you're like,
yeah.
Start gnawing yourself.
Yeah. But he goes and he gets the device and this is our second reveal, actually. Yeah. This is our second official reveal. He uses the device willingly on the staircase. He puts it on, and then we see that there is a little insect organism thing inside.
I thought it was a demon at first. And I was like,
okay.
Maybe it was.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of like Wishmaster.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Does it have a bug inside?
No, but machine? It's like he's like trapped in like a jewel, like a genie in a lamp kind of thing, but he's in like a gem or something, and he comes out. Anyways, but Aurora sees him use this on the stairs, and it's kind of like probably a defining moment in her little childhood.
Yeah, she thinks so highly of Jesus, her grandpa, aka granddaddy.
Granddaddy.
But I wonder if, maybe she doesn't really, either she is conscious of this being a very troubling moment, but she is willing to love her grandpa regardless, or she is in the same way like a child would witness an adult doing something that maybe isn't like savory, but then assumes like, oh, this must be okay because they're doing it. So I think either read on it is fine.
Yeah.
Either way, she is now directly pulled into his little story.
So much so that she steals it later and she hides it because she doesn't want him
to use it.
She doesn't want him doing it anymore.
Oh, and then that brings us back to the drug thing where it's like, it's heartbreaking. She may not understand it, but she knows what it does. And that's really all that matters.
And she gives it back to him. And like she's like shows him that it's in the teddy bear. And she,
where people stash their drugs in children's toys.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
Alvin and the Chipmunks, the movie when we were kids, Claudia and Klaus, they stuffed animals
the diamonds,
with
right?
diamonds and money and used the children to smuggle them across continents in hot air balloons.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's why my name was Claudia in Spanish class in high school.
Because you wanted to be a drug smuggler?
That's
so funny.
movie.
My name in Spanish class was Alejandro because I was obsessed with the Mask of Zorro.
Oh, man.
I wanted to be Zorro.
Yep. No surprise there.
Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger in fucking Jingle All the Way, going into the toy shop with all the Santas. I'm not a pervert. I just was hiding my Chronos in a Turbo Man.
Wait, doesn't the jetpack on Turbo Man kind of look like the Chronos device? You guys.
Oh, does it?
You guys.
Oh my God, Danny. Is it time for the How I Met Your Monster conspiracy theory of the week?
Hold on. How do you say hit it in Spanish? Golpelio. Golpelo. That's hit it.
You're telling me that NASA is going to kill the President of the United States with an earthquake?
Not exactly the kind of thing a Secret Service agent can, like, just throw himself on top of. The whole Vietnam War was fought over a pin. Howard Hughes lost to Aristotle Onassis. This is the third issue this year. Conspiracy theory.
You had mentioned that Aurora hides the Chronos device in the doll.
Mm-hmm.
And I had pointed out that the Chronos device looks an awful lot like the Turbo Man jetpack on the doll. And in the movie Turbo Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger goes to the warehouse where they create toys and finds the Turbo Man doll.
Mm-hmm. The Spanish-speaking Turbo Man doll.
Oh, yes, exactly. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
It was the Spanish-speaking Turbo Man doll. Is that now? We all know that the Chronos device has been missing all this time,
mm-hmm.
and we also know that Chronos is a Christmas movie, and that an angel is a symbol in like Christmas lore. You know, with the baby Jesus. Was the Chronos device being held either deliberately or indeliberately in this warehouse, and then was it transported, like hidden on this Spanish-speaking Turbo Man doll? And then, oh no, I was going to say, was it given? Because at the end, when he gets the doll, he gives it to Myron Larrabee. Oh, yeah. See, I've already biffed it because I was thinking that he would give at the end, the kid gives the toy, little Anakin gives the toy to Myron Larrabee, a former monster on this podcast. And that maybe he was holding the device, maybe even used it directly or indirectly. And then that is what sort of like, that's how the events of the story transpired in terms of the Chronos device moving around and, you know, from this place in 1536 to where it ends up at the start of this movie.
What I will say is I did just look at pictures of Turbo Man, and his jetpack does kind of look like the Chronos device.
I'm saying.
So.
And it does. They both have like spring-powered wings and arms. And
Yep.
Okay, so
Perfect.
maybe my conspiracy theory of the week was a little muddled because I kind of forgot some of the exact story events. Maybe I have the order of events wrong. Maybe because Chronos was in 1993 and Jingle All the Way was 98, 97, 98. The device, which was destroyed, was maybe reconstructed. That's why the Spanish-speaking doll is broken, because it has a broken Chronos device on its back. Perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, so I will say that my headphones were not working during this whole monologue that you just had. So I'm gonna say your conspiracy theory is spot on, and
thank you.
I think it's probably rock solid because most of them are
just like me,
just like Casey.
It's true, Del Toro.
I have a boner.
Del Toro, is that you?
Guillermo del Toro, this is not how we behave on this podcast.
It is, though.
So inappropriate.
But moving on into the story here, now his antique shop has been ransacked. Because like They got the Archangel thing, but there's nothing inside. So they came back to destroy the antique shop to look for it. And they left him a little calling card that said, "Hey, come by the old warehouse. This sterile room is open to anybody."
Sterile room is not so sterile. Do they know for sure that is this the last Archangel on Earth or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how they were like, it's not in here. He's got it
when they
like,
have 100 other Archangels that didn't have a CRONOS device inside them.
Unless they also like
it has a distinct
those too.
Look.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. It has like maybe they just are like, it's the Archangel with the broken eye, and it smells like cockroach poop.
Yeah.
Ew. It's nasty.
Ew. Okay. Anyway, proceed.
Okay, so then this is our next honorable mention, where Jesus goes to the super sterile warehouse room and meets De La Guardia, who is like, "Hey, I have this book that tells all about this cool device that wants that, it's got a set of rules, and here's all the stuff, but whatever's in that shoebox must be the fucking device I'm looking for." But it wasn't. It was a couple of padlocks.
Sucker.
And De La Guardia has that great line where he says, De La Guardia says it, but Guillermo del Toro 100% wrote it. And if there was any doubt, this is the scene where it proves that, is when he says, "Who says insects aren't God's favorite creatures?" And he has all these really kind of cool parallels to, Jesus walking on water, bugs floating above water, living forever, living in all that stuff.
Jesus walking on water. Was Jesus a cockroach?
He was a mosquito.
A mosquito, apparently.
He did drink blood. Or he gave his blood. Ooh, is Jesus a vampire? Are Christians all vampires?
No, I think they'd be a little bit happier.
Oh, maybe that's why he named him Jesus in the movie.
I already thought about that.
Jesus was a fucking mosquito.
Angel coming to... Oh my God.
You guys really didn't think about any of that?
That Jesus was a mosquito?
No, about like the Jesus and the angels and all of this being some sort of allegory for...
Oh, no, that didn't cross my mind. No.
Oh.
Oh my God. And I just saw Aurora is Latin for dawn.
Yeah.
Oh.
The vampire of the gray dawn.
Okay.
I don't know it. That's it.
It's all coming together.
No one is gray.
Coming together.
We got all the pieces, but we it's like having a puzzle, and just because you bought the puzzle doesn't mean you have a finished puzzle. You just have the pieces.
Yeah.
That's us.
Okay, so now that Jesus has tricked De La Guardia, thinking he's given him the device, or he's stolen the device, but it turns out it's some padlocks, then he's like had enough. He's going to send Angel out to...
He basically is just sending his like thug out to like intimidate him, because that's all these guys have. Not once have they just been like, "Can you just give it to us?" They immediately turn to violence.
Yeah, which Angel is like so pissed off at his uncle. He like doesn't want, like, he's only like putting up with him so that he can like inherit his money when he's done.
But
when he's dead,
if he lives forever, then he doesn't die.
Yeah,
but I don't think Angel realizes that.
I don't think Angel, because after he goes and he beats him up like at the party, and he like takes him out to the cliff, whatever. Then he's like, "What is this thing that my uncle's looking for? Like, what does he do?" And then Jesus says like he thinks it'll make him live forever, and then that's when he says like, "Oh, all he does is piss and shit all day, and he wants to live forever." Like, what the hell? And he starts laughing.
At this party, though.
At the party, we're seeing that he's starting to get this like craving for blood.
Oh, he goes feral.
This
guy gets a nosebleed.
The fucking bathroom scene.
And Granddaddy goes feral.
He not only drinks blood, off the floor. He drinks nose blood off the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then he gets
gross.
kicked in the face.
There is a scene in here that we're gonna return to later. Spoiler alert, but yeah, that's basically like, at this point in the movie is he's kind of succumbing to what we know to be kind of like
vampiric tendencies.
Yeah, vampiric tendencies.
Mm-hmm. Until fucking Angel drives him off a cliff.
Oh yeah, you do.
And he puts him in the car and he pushes him off the cliff, and So he essentially like dies. Like people think he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to first they put some makeup on him and fix him up because they're supposed to like he's going to show him. And then he's like, no, he's being cremated. And the fucking guy's like, why didn't you tell me that before I did all this? Like, wonderful work.
Yeah.
But he's about to get cremated. He gets out of the box. Okay. This pissed me off from this point on until the remaining, till the end of the movie. Why the fuck is his suit on backwards?
Because he's in a funeral parlor suit. They don't put regular suits on you. They open from the back so that you can put them on a dead body easier. So you can just sit them up and slide it on.
Okay. But why is it on backwards?
It's not on backwards. He's wearing it backwards so that he can have the front closed in the front. So he's not walking around with the back open.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see. So he's not
I get it. Okay. I get it. I knew it had something to do with the funeral home thing. Cause like you do see him in that scene where they're like fixing him up before he's about to be cremated. You see him like slide the suit on.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was backwards the whole time, I guess what I'm trying to say is I guess my issue is that I didn't like the look of him in the second half of the movie.
I didn't either.
Like he had like the scarf around him and he had like his hair was like down and whatever.
Yeah.
And he just looked like dopey.
Yeah, like dopey. Come on, try a little bit.
It's moments like this where I realize I understand. I understand how people can have different thoughts about things, but sometimes you need like a really potent example to show how dramatic and drastic that difference is. And this is one of those moments. Okay. I loved everything about his look. I think it's so weird. It's so like inventive to put him in this strange outfit. He almost there's this one scene where he's walking away.
Well,
he's kind of just a silhouette, but he almost looks like it's like, oh, Del Toro's going full on like he is Dracula, but it is the most unromantic. He almost looks like he has this like cape on and it's like this creature of the night. But really, when you look up close, it's like, oh, you just look gross. Like you're just decaying and it's so sad.
That. Sure. It's almost like Dracula, like in Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's almost like his shadow is very like grand and everything, but when you look at him, he's
when you look up totally.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway.
Okay, I see that. I get it.
But also, I am not here to sway.
You are here to sway.
I thought he looked so dopey.
He does, yeah.
Hey, it's our first dopey vampire.
Not that he's supposed to look like a certain way. He's not supposed to look like heroic or whatever. I just didn't like it. Just a personal taste. I was like,
fair. It's okay to be wrong.
Fair.
So he's going around just trying to like figure out what's happening to himself. He meets back up with Aurora. We see a Christmas tree again.
Thank you. It's a Christmas movie.
He starts writing his letter to Mercedes to be like, hey, hopefully you'll love me when you see me again, because I'm not dead. I'm just gone somewhere, but I'm going to come back. And even if I look different, hopefully you still love me.
I do like that part.
Where he's writing the letter? That
he wrote her a letter. Because most of the time they would just show up and it would be like, and like, so he...
Well, Casey, you were talking about this movie maybe needing more creepiness.
Yes.
That scene, and it's tough to be as like classically creepy and effective because we are in the perspective of the quote unquote monster. But when Mercedes gets the call from her dead husband and she just immediately hangs up when he's like, Mercedes, it's me or something like that. And she just hangs up.
Yeah.
That like, I don't know, like when you flip it and you're in her head,
but she didn't even notice.
I thought she did.
I don't think so.
He says Mercedes before he says Mercedes and then she hangs up.
But she didn't look to me like, oh, fuck, that sounded just like my dead husband. She just nonchalantly hung up the phone.
So that I agree. And I think my read on it was a few things. Like I think it could have been that she was just in shock or like, you know, like maybe she deep down, like she does believe in the supernatural. And it's like, nope, I'm not even going to acknowledge it. That was my husband on the phone. He just died. I just went to his funeral.
Yeah.
And this movie so this movie doesn't need to be more creepy. That's just what I wanted. from it.
Gotcha. Oh no,
So
that's totally valid. No, I totally get that. Oh, my other thing was maybe she just thought her grief was just so intense that like maybe she's kind of losing it a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Like she could just hear him. Like she wanted it to be him on the phone.
Yeah. So it's like,
and
I'm
so she heard
going
her name.
to like outwardly acknowledge, like having it more traditional, like, oh my God, like what the fuck? It's just like, nope, not even, I can't acknowledge this because it's either real and it's too disturbing to accept, or it's my grief manifesting as this. And I can't accept that either.
Right. Right. Oh man. Either one, that was a good scene. Either way you look at it, that was good.
Yeah. And everything up to this point is just him kind of contending with we get like the sunlight, it's like more vampire stuff.
Oh yeah. He's got to sleep in the toy box.
Oh,
and like Aurora like helps, like she makes the bed for him. Like, oh my God.
I love everything about that. His coffin is a toy box.
Yeah.
And there's that shot of,
because he's Geppetto.
Exactly. I don't know what the trailer is for this movie. I've never seen it, but if the teaser was literally just like over black, ominous music, and you just open up on that shot where the toy chest is in the foreground and Aurora's in the background playing with her toys, and you just see the toy box slowly open and she turns and faces it. And then you just say Chronos.
That's creepy.
Oh, I'm in.
No, because that would have given a really, really like not correct version of what this movie was.
Well, yeah, but like they do that all the time.
Yeah, I know they do it all the time. No, I totally agree. It doesn't.
Because that would have been creepy.
Yeah, it doesn't totally encapsulate or represent, I guess is the better word, the tone and everything of the rest of the movie. So I agree. I just would have liked it.
It would have been cool though. Like,
yeah.
The trailer for this movie has like a little wooden boy, like a little wooden puppet who like comes to life, becomes a fucking donkey.
So is this just scenes from animated?
Pinocchio is like one of the scariest kids movies ever.
Pinocchio's fucked up.
It's fucking
Have you
wild.
seen his Pinocchio?
No.
Watch it. It's so good.
Was it the one on Netflix?
Yeah. This is really different. It's not it is the Pinocchio story, but oh my God. Okay. I fucking wept. It's so good.
All right. Maybe I'll check that out. But so now in the movie, him and Aurora are kind of like, she's helping him out, and they need to go find the book to figure out like how to use this device because something is going
There's
on.
There's always a book.
There's always
in
a
these
book.
horror
so
movies.
They break into the super secure, sterile warehouse room. And at
LaGuardia Airport.
At LaGuardia Airport. And she finds the book, but dude wakes up and they have like a thing.
Yeah, and
this is our
just gonna go into this room while he's sleeping and expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least get some sort of drug to inject him with to keep him asleep. Jesus Christ.
Well, he's
come
probably
on, guys.
thinking like, this dude's dying. He's not gonna be a threat.
Maybe, but he carries 2 canes. Do you not think one of them's got a fucking knife in it? Come on.
That's true.
I never thought that once.
Anyone with 2 canes has at least one knife hidden in one of them.
Dude, if I see a cane, I'm like, what is the likelihood that there's a knife in that cane?
Well, earlier he busts Angel in the fucking face with it.
Yeah.
And so I thought he was going to do that again. I thought he was going to swing it at him and hit him with the thing. But
the only guy I know who doesn't have a knife hidden in his cane is, of course, Lucius Malfoy, because he has a wand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But there's still something hidden in there.
You could stab someone with a wand.
You could.
Anyways, this is our third and final reveal of the movie. De La Guardia sees the device, the Chronos device, for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
he wanted it. He's been thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like reading about something or like watching. It's like, don't meet your idols kind of thing. That's what this is. It's his holy grail.
Mm-hmm. Then he takes his little knife out and he stabs Jesus, and then there's a scuffle or a trifle.
Which I just realized is kind of another vampire nod, because he says, how do I get out of this? I can live forever. And the first time we see the alchemist in the opening, he's dead by being punctured through the chest, like a stake to the heart kind of. It's like this movie's version of that. So it's interesting that, like, I don't know, you would think there would be something more complicated in how to kill these people or these.
Right.
I mean,
it's just
I don't know. I just get the
chest.
feeling that you're not going to die naturally.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily say anything about being like invincible.
Yeah.
You know,
that's true.
Like immortality and invincible are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because really it is like they kind of show it. I mean, they literally show it later when Aurora gives Jesus the device, we see the creature, we kind of see the process a little more vividly, where the blood is pumping into it and it comes back to life, and it's drawing that parallel, like, oh, a Pinocchio thing. He is being puppeted essentially by this creature inside the device.
Yeah.
Wow. Who would have thought Geppetto ends up being the puppet in the end? What a twist.
Oh yeah, fucking Aurora kills De La Guardia.
Oh yeah,
she smacks him over the head with the cane, right? Oh,
we
and then
think
we think he's dead, and then Angel comes and does his Merry Christmas,
yells Merry Christmas.
He does his little jig, his little Christmas jig, and then he crunches his neck.
Yeah.
So he can get that insurance money, inheritance money.
But so then there's this big climax fight on the roof, and they fall through the window. They jump off the roof, fall through the window. Angel's dead.
Grandpa should be dead.
And now that he knows, like before De La Guardia was killed, he told him that like it's his skin, he just needs to peel it off because he's being reborn. And so then he like sticks it's a very like Videodrome-esque moment where he like sticks his hand in his fucking chest and like starts ripping the skin off. But this is where that whole like thing about identity comes in, where he's like, I don't want to be this thing. So he crushes the device, and essentially by crushing the device and killing the insect inside, like he dies. And that's it. That's the movie. That's
CRONOS in a golden scarab shell.
It's CRONOS in a golden scarab shell. That's right. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesus chooses family and love over immortality and loneliness.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't want to live as like a gray dude.
Yeah. No. I'd rather die in bed with loved ones, surrounded by loved ones, than live forever looking like the fucking marble floor of the, I don't know.
Okay. But if you could live forever and look like Brad Pitt.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at the end, he's laying in the bed and Aurora's holding him, and Mercedes comes up and he lifts his hand up, and she takes his hand, and then it's over. And it's like, okay, Danny, I don't love the movie, but after us talking about it, I do appreciate it a lot more. For sure.
I'm glad to hear. I thank you. Like I needed.
Thank you.
I didn't hate the movie to begin with. It was fine.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, you're just being hard on yourself. It's your first movie. You did a great job. Just enjoy it. Appreciate it. It's classic.
All right. Well, now let's, this will be a quick one, but let's go over our favorite reveals in Guillermo del Toro's CRONOS.
What's going on here? I don't see anything anywhere. That's how they get you. They're under the goddamn ground.
Okay, so if we normally we just stick to official reveals in this one. So there's only going to be 3. So speed round recap. Jesus and Aurora activate the device. Jesus willingly uses
roll out.
Cue Linkin Park. Number 2, Jesus willingly uses the device, and we see the bug inside. And number 3, De La Guardia sees the device for the first time. Danny, what is your favorite reveal in CRONOS?
My favorite reveal in the movie is actually the second reveal, when he uses it willingly, when we get to see all the cogs in the machine turning.
Oh, yeah.
And then we get the reveal of this creature. Like we get to actually see the monster in the machine. Really loved that.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Casey?
Mine is the same. For the same reason. What?
No.
I'm serious. I was gonna say that. I'm not just like, but I did. But I liked it for the same reason.
Okay.
Del Toro being humble. It's like, I'm just gonna listen to the fans.
Yeah, my favorite is, I'm gonna go with the first one. I love like the cogs in the machine, like that, like the imagery is so cool and all that. But I'm going to go with the first one when he first uses it, because it kind of reminded me of like the lament configuration where it like opens up and it's like turning and you don't know what it's going to do. And like, so he's got it in his hand and he turns it and you're just like waiting. And then the things pop out and he's like, oh, it's got legs. And it's like, oh, it's grabbing me. It's like, oh, it's stabbing me.
It keeps growing.
It keeps growing. So I kind of like that.
That is fun.
Yeah.
You guys know it would have been you said Del Toro had another title for this movie. I have another alternate title for this movie. Cockroach.
Cog
of the machine. Cockroach.
There's the insect in there and it's the cog. Hey, that's good. Cockroach. Doesn't have the same sophisticated ring to it, but
Guillermo del Toro's CRONOS. Guillermo del Toro's Cockroach. That's how you have to say it. He's from Chicago.
It would be called, this movie would be called Cockroach if it was in a world where Joe's apartment, if like we lived in that world of Joe's apartment,
totally,
he would be the cockroach
with the same production designer.
Welcome to Joe's apartment.
All right, well now it's time for a segment that we like to call The Real Monster.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. You're a monster. I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others? Eat me!
Okay, who wants to go first?
I'll go. I only have one.
Okay.
The real monster is... Oh, this bothered me. The dude who not only leaves the stall with his pants still down, like not only, like I get it, like maybe you're walking away from the urinal and you're kind of finishing up your belt because there's a line and you're like, okay, I don't need to stand here and, secure my belt. I get it. Yeah. Guys, we get it.
We get it.
But
or he could use the zipper.
Are down. Yeah, or you don't have a belt and you just want to zip up and you turn around and you do a little zip. Yeah, it's the dude who not only leaves the stall with his pants still down, he's very much exposed. He has his underwear on. But then he cleans up someone else's blood with his bare hands.
Yes. And then doesn't wash his hands.
And then he doesn't wash them.
Thank you.
He just leaves.
I think I was so just appalled by the first part that I forgot the most important fact.
So he's got like dick and ball sweat and another person's blood all over his hands. Going out into a party where he's probably going to eat a bunch of finger food.
But he had also assumedly just wiped his ass too. So
oh yeah, I forget that you guys don't pee in stalls. Yeah.
Oh no, that was a
fecal matter, dick and ball sweat.
Shit. Jesus.
Just because he's gross.
Yeah.
Gonna go eat finger foods at the party.
Casey, what do you got?
My real monster is Tito and his sorry excuse for mortuary cosmetology and just being able to fucking keep track of a dead body.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
God, that sequence is so fun when he comes. I thought they were going to go for like a scare where he sees the corpse wake up. I thought it was way better the way they did it, where the door is just open. He doesn't even pay attention.
Oh, I knew what they were doing as soon as they left. I'm like, oh, he's just going to get out of here.
I love that he goes to the basement to like check the gas and like there's clearly a gas leak because he like smells it and then he ties the fabric around the thing, but he's just like playing with the fucking matches and stuff. And I was like, dude, I want to get that checked out. My real monster is the bathroom scene as a whole. So
what, you don't like that he licked blood off the floor?
No. Okay. Well, first there's Danny's bit where the guy cleans it up with his bare hands and then doesn't wash them. There's the dude himself who leaves blood all over the counter and doesn't clean up after himself.
Think of that.
He just like wipes his nose. And he's like, oh yeah, I feel much better. And he like goes away and like, there's blood everywhere. Like, dude, clean it up yourself. And then Jesus for not just licking blood, but for licking blood off a bathroom floor.
Yeah.
And it's got like boogers in it, probably. But it's like wet boogers, so you can't see it. But it's definitely there.
Yeah, that was... and he kind of like you were talking about drugs, Danny, like he even like scoops up he tries to like line up the blood almost like he's like almost like Coke, you know what I mean? He's like
dollar bill.
Well, he's trying to like
inhales it, but like it just kind of absorbs into the dollar bill. He's like, damn it.
Shit.
He just eats the dollar.
But yeah, it was almost like he was doing a line of coke in the thing before dude comes out of the bathroom. But so yeah, the whole bathroom scene as a whole, which is a scene like I think it should be talked about more because like that was a pretty grotesque scene and like never. Ugh.
It's pretty great.
Ugh.
Gross but great.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta push some buttons.
Well, now it's time for our final segment. Would you survive the CRONOS device?
And here we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like,
because
in this case, do you have it on you or no? Or have you just avoided
Well,
it?
because you either avoid it at all costs or you use it and then live forever.
Yeah.
So,
but you have to use it right. And if you don't have the instructions.
I do love sun. Like the first day, I'd be like, I just want to go a tan for like a second. And then
I love the sun too. But my thing is like, I don't think it. I'm like not gonna go get into a fight with this old man who doesn't know that like who wants it. Like I'm a pacifist.
But to be fair, like Jesus didn't mean to use it.
That's fair.
I mean, he like turned the thing, but he didn't know what it was gonna do.
Right, but that's what I mean. If I use it, then I just keep up with it and good.
I wouldn't actively put on the device. And the second that I discovered that it was a bug, like a cockroachy kind of bug, I'm out. With that said, I love the look of it. I'm very drawn into that look. So I would probably accidentally grab it. So,
yeah.
And then I would go directly into the sun and I wouldn't want to drink blood. So I changed my vote. I would die. I would not survive meeting this monster.
Yeah. See, I think once the legs came out, I would immediately throw it.
You're like,
I'm like, okay, nope, okay, I'm done. And he's just like, oh, okay. What's it going to do now? What are these spiky things that's surrounding my hand going to do next?
Let's just give it a chance. Maybe it gets better.
But it did not. It did not get better. No. Okay, you guys, that's CRONOS. That is our Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
That is our very Christmassy. Kind of, we love fucking Christmas episodes on this show.
I mean, last year we did 2 legit Christmas movies.
That's true. They were actually Christmas movies.
By the way, we should point out, we understand that not everyone celebrates Christmas. So
we would be remiss to say that.
Yeah, I would be remiss to point out the fact that I understand we all do not celebrate Christmas if we do celebrate anything at all.
I don't even celebrate Christmas.
But yeah, and you may have, whether it be for spiritual reasons, personal reasons. So whatever you happen to be celebrating this time of year, I wish you a happy one.
Yes.
Happy holidays. Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes. Yeah. And we are going to continue talking about the holidays in our third and final feature in our Season's Creepings triple feature, when we're going to watch End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Gabriel Byrne.
Why do we talk about the news? Because it's the end of the world, and that's what they're.
Oh, because the state of the world is shit right now. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. No, but we're going to talk about End of Days, which is it's a movie that I haven't seen in a long time, but I used to watch it like all the time, and I love it a lot. And so I'm excited to watch it. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger in he gets a bad rap for being just like the bulky whatever. But he's got some pretty good. Look
at that bulky whatever over there.
You little bulky man. Hey, you little bulky whatever. You little bulky so and so. But he's got some good acting performances hidden throughout his filmography, and I think End of Days is one of them.
I've never actually seen it all the way through. I think I was too scared when it came out. Why?
Fun.
I love horror, but for some reason that movie scared me.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a good movie. I think it's a lot of fun. So excited for that. Back to CRONOS. If you guys have seen CRONOS and you want to talk more about it, make sure to find us on social media. We are on all the major social platforms. A little bit of news. We have officially left X.
Yeah.
Because of
does not mark the spot.
Fuckboy little dildo that is Elon Musk. We are no longer on X. We are now on Blue Sky. So you can follow us over there. Where can our listeners find you guys on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
Awesome. Danny?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at my name. That is Danny Salem, DANNYSALEMME, 2 M's like the candy, melt in your butt, not in your hands.
Wonderful. And I do want to note that I believe De La Guardia in this movie was eating your butt M&Ms.
He did. Well, I actually supplied them myself. There was a short. So back then, a lot of people didn't know this. In 1993, there was a shortage of M&Ms. And
because you had them all in your butt.
Because you had them all in your butt.
I'm not saying I was at fault, but it definitely helped to have me on set and offer up, whatever we could find.
Yeah.
And there was a lot.
Do people just squeeze you and they pop out?
You have to like squeeze my cheeks and then some M&Ms come out.
Go give Danny a hug, but not too hard.
Unless you're hungry. Oh, I really make myself look great on this show, don't I?
You do. You can find me on social media at Zach Winsick. Until we visit the millennium again for End of Days, thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.